Hello, welcome back. It's Adrienne, and today I'm doing my January and February reading wrap up. Now, my reading so far this year is not quite the pace that I would like it to be, but I've still been reading some things. I do have some big plans for March that I think is going to catch me up on my reading goal. That's not the point of this video. The point is to talk about the books that I've read so far this year. And so far that's been, I think, 8 books. So let's go through them. The first book that I picked up for 2024 was Burn the Negative by Josh Winning. This was kind of a random pickup. It's a horror read that is about a cursed film. I've seen a lot of cursed film stories coming out recently. Horror or thriller, it seems to be a popular genre right now. So this one follows a woman named Laura. She is a journalist and she is assigned to go to LA and cover the story of a Hollywood studio remaking an old cult classic horror film. But little does everyone there know, she actually played the child character in the original movie. Since the movie, or during the filming of that movie actually, a lot of people died in mysterious ways that paralleled how their characters died in the movie. And as soon as Laura gets back to LA, she sees a man plummet to his death from a bridge. So she's like, it's happening again, this curse is reactivated. I really enjoyed this story because oftentimes I couldn't tell if this was gonna be supernatural or not. Even when weird things were happening, I myself and some of the characters were like, is that supernatural? And then once we were convinced it was supernatural, then it's like, oh wait, maybe it's not. So that back and forth was really fun. It takes quite a bit of the story to find out what's really happening. And the story turns into a bit of an adventure. Like we have this group of characters who are going to like try to figure something out related to the film, and things get wonky and police are involved, and it was a really good time. It was a really fun horror. I think I will pick up more books in this subgenre of horror films because it's kind of interesting the take that this author took on it. Next, I picked up When I'm Dead by Hannah Morrissey. The first 3 books that I read for the year were for Winterween, which I did actually record a vlog for, but I'm having camera issues. I got a new camera. I've been having, I don't know how to use it, and my quality was too high in that video for my computer to edit it. So I don't know if I'll ever post the Winterween vlog, but this is the second book I read in it. I had chosen this one because this came out as a book of the month pick in October last year. It had mentioned that there was trick-or-treating and pumpkin carving and like Halloween vibes. So I thought since I missed it reading it in October, I could read it for Winterween, which was a great selection. Now, this did not have the Halloween vibes that it advertised. It did have a sprinkle of Halloween because it was set in the fall season, but I enjoyed it a ton for other reasons. So this is actually the 3rd book in a companion series of thriller mystery books. The first one is called Hello Transcriber, and the second one is The Widowmaker. I've recently picked up both of them and hope to read them soon, but the characters in it overlap, but we're following different main characters in each book. And by the way, if I saw a book called Hello Transcriber, I honestly don't think I would have ever bought it, but whatever. So this does maybe spoil a little bit the series, but Book of the Month told us to read it, so I read it. Now, this one follows a married couple who live in this town called Black Harbor, and the mom is the medical examiner and the dad is a detective, and the daughter goes missing. The daughter's best friend is found murdered. So at first they're afraid that the daughter is the second victim and they just haven't found her yet, or she's being held captive. But then there starts to be signs that maybe she's the one who killed her best friend. And we're just talking to the townspeople and figuring out what happened. I loved the setting. I loved the vibe of it. It was a little dark. I mean, it does involve murder, but also like the way they describe things that happen, it was a little dark. But it was really a good time and really fun because we kept jumping to different perspectives. Like we're following a neighbor girl and we're following other people in the town when there's other things going on besides just this main case. Some of them are related, some are not. And just seeing the dynamic of the people in the town where bad things keep happening because it's book 3 in this crime thriller type book. but it was a good time. I can't wait to read the other two. I don't know if I've ever read or heard of like companion thriller books. I could be wrong, but love the idea, loved this book. And then my final winter ween read was Slewfoot by Brom. This book I had started in October, didn't get to finish. So again, great time to pick it up. But I might be one of the only people that I've heard of that does not like this book. I love the way the book looks. I love this odd shape. There are pictures inside, but this book is set during like Puritan times, following our main character Abigail, who gets married off to a Puritan man, and she's really upset about her situation, but she ends up finding a bit of partnership with her husband. He's not so bad, especially compared to the town and his family and that super religious situation where everyone has to go to church. You have to follow all these rules or you'll get in big trouble. And she has some witchy things going on. She makes tinctures and brews, but she's also discovering that maybe she has a little bit more power than that. Meanwhile, there is a devilish creature. Is he the devil? Is he a demon? Is he, I don't know, in the woods by her house. She ends up working with him a bit because some bad things happen and she needs his help, so she makes a deal with the devil to get out of her situation, or at least try to. And the townspeople are just so evil. I don't love books set in Puritan times anyways, which wouldn't stop me from giving a book 5 stars, that's for sure. But just the pure evilness of people, I mean, it was just disgusting. And then there was a section of the book where there was just so much suffering for quite a bit of time, and then it turns into a bit of a good for her moment, but I didn't enjoy that either. There was just so much darkness, so much suffering, and I get why people might love this, but it just wasn't quite for me. So I think I gave it 3 stars. It was still good, but certainly not a new favorite. The next book I read, I think my sister has my physical copy. I was on a trip, a work trip. I had flown there, and then my sister was on her own trip that she had driven there. We met up. I gave her stuff from my suitcase so that I could buy more books while I was on my trip, so I could lower my weight. Why am I way over explaining this? My point is, I gave it to her to bring back home, and it's probably still in her trunk. And that was a month ago. So now that I'm thinking of it, I'm gonna ask her for my book back. But it was Only If You're Lucky by Stacy Willingham. Stacy Willingham wrote A Flicker in the Dark and All the Dangerous Things. All the Dangerous Things was maybe my favorite thriller of last year, or at least top 5 thrillers that I read last year. I loved it so much, and A Flicker in the Dark wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it so much, and it was very, very good. I loved her writing, I loved her style, I loved just the vibe of the book. And then this new one came out and it was not for me. Another thing, okay, now I'm just telling you all the things I don't like. So another thing I don't like is books set in college. Even if it's a thriller where we're just flashing back to the character's college days, it's still not my favorite. This book was a flash forward, flashback story, or 2 timeline story, but it was all while they were in college, and I just, that's not my thing. It was a group of girls who, our main character just was like looking to fit in, looking for friends after her high school best friend died. And so she gets in with this group of girls. They just drink and do drugs and hang out, and I hate that. I hate that storyline. But then one of the girls from the group, you find out at the very beginning, is missing, and the police are trying to find out where she is. And also this guy from the school is found dead. So we're just discovering what happened and trying to figure that out. But I hate the college party setting is not for me. And the way that, I don't know, I feel like the book was trying to be clever, the way it would reveal things, or you would know something but you don't know the real reason behind it. I don't know. It just wasn't for me, and I was very disappointed because I was looking forward to reading Stacy Willingham's new book so badly, but I didn't like it. And then I thought, I'll read another most anticipated author's new release book, The Fury by Alex Michaelides. And guess what? I didn't like this book either. This one, so the Stacey Willingham, I gave like 3 stars. This one is 2 stars. I was suffering through it. This book is about a group of people. So we have this very unlikable guy as our main character. He is best friends with this like Hollywood movie star. She invites him and a group of friends to a Greek island that she owns. Some bad things happen. Somebody ends up dead. Now, our narrator is telling us a story. He's telling us about what happened, and he's really annoying and insufferable, which is intentional, but I didn't like him. Even he'll tell you characters in the book don't like him, don't like his personality or how he comes off. And I was thinking that I would end up liking him anyways, but I did not. The things that were going on in this book were just messy and weird. Like, our main character is so weird, which I like weird characters. For example, Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell, I love. It's a thriller where there's lots of characters involved, but one of the main characters is really weird, and it's like saying like just because somebody's weird doesn't mean they're a bad person. But like this guy, he's weird and a bad person, and like some of the preconceived notions you would have about him because he's odd are true. Like, he's a really strange guy. And then everyone in the story is just so full of themselves, and they're liars and they're bad people, which I feel like I can like bad people, but maybe I can't, because this was not a good time. I thought that the setting would be fun because like we're in the Greek islands, but it's not a good time. So 2 stars for Alex Michaelides. Next up, I think, are we in February now? We're in February now. I picked up Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. This book is one of those books where 2 characters meet each other and discuss killing people in each other's lives because, they're unrelated and they won't get caught or drawn back to them. But this one was interesting because these 2 women meet randomly, and one of them has that idea and the other one does not like that idea. She's like, "Go away, you psycho stranger," and runs away. But that first one is still like, yeah, I'm gonna go help her, even though she did not agree with the situation. So we're following our main character, Tasha, who's with a super abusive, horrible husband, and she's staying with him because of her son. And it's just really sad to see her just suffering. And then our other character, Madison, who's like, "I'll help you get out of that situation," and she is with this very wealthy man who, like, she was his mistress and now she thinks that he has a mistress. So like, she's not really in a dangerous situation, but she feels like their situations are equal and they should both kill each other's husbands. Madison was actually a pretty entertaining character because she was crazy, just absolutely nuts, but in like a funny to me way, not funny to her husband. And then Tasha, she's like such a nice self-sacrificing mother character, but I hate self-sacrificing characters. I hate martyrs. That is not entertaining to me. But I did like how what was going on in this book affected Tasha, changed Tasha, and how everything worked out. So Madison, she was entertaining, but then her character turned a little sad because you find out like a dark history that she has that kind of made her this way. So yeah, it was a pretty good read. I felt like it lasted longer than it needed to, but otherwise it was pretty entertaining. Next up, I read By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. This is the first romance I've read in a while. I don't pick up romance very often, so I really enjoyed this book, but I don't know if romance readers in general would love it. So this follows a woman who works for a publishing company, and I love how this book started off because working for a publishing company has been her dream for her whole life. And the very first intro chapter was about her being so excited to walk into her first day of work. The following chapter is 2 years later when she hates her job. So I thought that was fun because I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. How once we're there for a while, we realize, oh, this is not quite what I expected. So Isabella is an assistant editor, and her editor has a client, well, an author that is not writing his book. So he's a celebrity His name was, oh, Bo Towers. He's supposed to be writing his celebrity memoir, but he just keeps missing deadlines. He's no longer answering phone calls or email, so Isabella ends up going to his house to try to get him to write his book. Oh, and she lives in New York. He lives in Santa Barbara, maybe. So he says, why don't you just stay here and give me pep talks every day and I'll write my book. And he's kind of joking, kind of challenging her. And through some other circumstances, she does end up staying there. This is a Beauty and the Beast-like story where she's like living in his house and he's this grumpy, mean guy, but she is trying to help him. They end up connecting and bonding, and obviously it's a romance, so you know the path that it's going down. But the reason why I like this was because their relationship was very like gentle and easy, but a lot of their bonding was over like eating food, watching television, and just hanging out at home. Like, not very much of this book takes place outside of Bo's house, besides the couple of times that they go surfing. But even like when they went out to dinner, we missed them going to dinner. So I just thought it was fun to read people like sitting around at home, eating delicious food, and falling in love. It was cute. And then finally I read A Spell for Trouble, an Enchanted Bay mystery by Esme Addison. This follows a lawyer who got passed up for a promotion and she's just upset. So she finally accepts an invitation from her deceased mother's side of the family to visit them in North Carolina, like beach area. And she goes and stays there with them. They own and run this like apothecary herbalist place where they sell soaps and teas and things. And basically she finds out that she and her family are witches and they have some powers, but this is also a cozy mystery. So a customer who her aunt got in a fight with the day before winds up dead. And it seems like he was poisoned and her aunt had sold him a tea the day before that. They're like, oh, you poisoned him after your fight. So our main character, Alex, decides that she is suddenly a sleuth, like most cozy mysteries they are. And she's out and about investigating everyone in the town. So it was a fun cozy mystery and also mixed in with some magic. So she's learning how to use her powers that she didn't know that she had. She's trying to find out more about her mom's death because they are water witches. They can control water, but her mom died of a drowning, so that's obviously suspicious. And there are a couple of male interests, so a detective and the like rich, powerful family in town. There's a guy there that she used to play with as a child. So she has two love interests going on, and yeah, it's fun. This is her dog, Athena, who's cute, and she like takes on walks around the little town. She frequents a little coffee shop, so it's like cozy mystery, magic. It was a good time. I love the little store. I love anything that has like magic potion-y stores. And yeah, I loved the little family. There was like a cousin who has magic powers, but she doesn't believe she should use her magic power, so she's a cop. I don't know, there were a lot of dynamics in here that were fun. This is part of a duology. I didn't love it enough. I don't think I'll continue, but this author does have a new book coming out in May that's starting off a new series about a historian. So I think I might pick up that to see if her writing has improved and I like that story better, but this was really cute. And so those are all of the books that I read in January and February. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of those, especially if you've read the rest of the books in the Hello Transcriber trilogy, because I'm just so excited to read those. Let me know what else you guys have been reading, and I'll see you next time.